What's going on YouTube? Today, got a bit of a cool new launch that came out recently. We've got a Chaves, or Chaves, whatever you're going to call it, Ultramar Kickstop Rendencion 229. So you guys may have seen a video I did. I had a Tanto and a drop point of this in the past that was up on the site of a standard, I guess tab flipper kind of knife, and I just wanted to show you this, get it out of the box and take a look. So it comes in this nice magnetic case, as you can kind of see, clips down nicely. Inside we can see we've got some silica gel. We've got an extra clip, which because some people don't like the skull clip, you can kind of see here that you know, it's not for everybody, but it certainly looks real cool to me anyway. It does come with an extra clip so that if you want to, you can certainly put that on there in its place and just get rid of the skull, but you still are going to have screws coming through the front of the clip, so that is kind of what it is. But we're not here to see the pocket clip, unless you are, then that's cool. We are here to see this. There we go. So what's unique about this knife versus standard Rendencion 229? Well, I don't know. There's this little thing up here that some people pay big bucks for on you know, custom knife versions from Lee Williams, I believe his name is, and it is called the Kickstop. If you don't understand how a kickstop works, you know, I can identify with you, because I have this in my hands. And playing with it, I still don't quite understand how it works, because I'm not willing to take this apart and look. But if I did take this apart and look, I'm sure it would be very clear to me. So let's get started on this knife. Couple things that we're going to talk about. It is, as far as I'm aware, exactly the same as a Rendencion 229, available in Tanto and drop point. The example I have here is Tanto, as you can see, by the Tanto blade. Super, super cool. Love the grinds. This is a Riot made knife, and has a super loyal following, both on Instagram as well as Facebook. Groups love the knives, they customize them, they carry them, they beat the crap out of them. Super cool. In hand, comparison wise, as you can kind of tell, you know, it's a big knife. It's a big, thick knife, I should say. But don't get me wrong. When you're looking at this, you're like, oh, it's a very aggressive grind. It must be thick stock. It's fairly thick, for sure. I'm not going to throw calipers on it, but it is a thick stock. But what's so cool here is that it's a very hollow grind. And hollow means that it's not flat. Flat being, if I put a ruler on here and put it right against there, there'd be no gap underneath the ruler. Hollow means that it's kind of got a belly to it, and you can feel it. It is very thin down below, and it is not something the camera's going to be able to pick up on, because I cannot get it to focus and show that kind of stuff. But you know what? Just know it's a in hand. It's a very hollow grind, very slicey, with a nice grind on it. The tip looks fantastic. These are great. They just, Riot is, they're killing it with these grinds on some of these knives that they're doing. These, as well as I had recently, you've probably seen a video of the J-Cape 3.5. That's also a Riot made knife, and very similar grinds, really cool knives. I wish, that just went out the door, but I wish that'd be the knife I'd be comparing this with, because it's got a flipper tab on it. But enough talk about it. Action. It's on bearings. Hopefully the mic's going to pick up some sounds. Real smooth. Just a terrific knife. You know, this is the kind of thing that I would say, if you're in the market for just a user that's heavy duty, that you don't have to worry about, it's got good resale, but more than anything, it's going to be able to take it. This is a terrific example of just a fantastic knife. Ergonomics in hand. I've got size extra large hands. You know what they say about guys with extra large hands? Just kidding. They want bigger knives. No issues here. Even though the clip is flat and not curved or anything, it doesn't really give me a hot spot. I could see myself using this with a good pair of work gloves. In terms of leftover handle there, as you can see, I could probably fit half a finger on there, no problems, lots of room. And then the curvature of the back, as you can kind of see, you know, it's nicely curved for the front, for the lock bar, and then it curves nice and doesn't tail off. The tail off is when they, rather than the constant curve, they kind of just cut it back up. I'm not a big fan of that, but you know what? This just holds you right in a nice grip. Love it. Hardware, it's I couldn't tell you. Probably it's pretty small, maybe T8, maybe less, all around, which is fine. No issues there. It looks like we've got on here a lock bar. Yeah, we do. As we can probably see, like I'm an idiot here looking at this. Well, does it have it? There's like a screw right there. Of course it has a lock bar metal insert. Two things on that, right? I always like to discuss. The lock bar insert isn't just about having a metal that wears out in between your titanium frame and your M390 blade, as you can see here. It's also about tuning the wear between the two materials so that as it does wear out, which it will, which is the whole point of that, you can modify that material. It doesn't necessarily, I don't know what that material is made of, but you can certainly modify that material so that as it won't stick to the blade when you are using it and as it breaks in. The actual sound of this knife is almost identical to the Rendencion 229 that I had, and it feels in hand like everything about it just feels the same. So if you like the 229, you're gonna love this thing. Absolutely love this thing. And I'll be honest, this kickstop, look how cool that is. It does get a little wiggly, I'd say. That's not a technical term, but you can see how it moves around when you're not using it. Because all it is it's a piece of metal that floats behind the blade, and it activates in place so that when the blade is up into the handle like that, there's zero play. It's solid. If I blindfolded you and said, is this a flipper tab? You would say, yes it is. Until all of a sudden it disappears and it's no longer attached to the bottom of the blade as such, which I'm telling you guys, I know there's the loyalists who love having the thumb studs up here. I just think this is how this thing should have came right from the factory in the first place. Because it's so cool. I love how below the tab as well you see M390, which is just a nice little detail that, you know, might not be super intentional, but obviously has to go somewhere. I just think that looks real cool. But back on the kickstop, you know, when the blade's up, this thing's not moving, it's not wiggling, it's not making a noise, it's not making a peep. But when the blade starts to come back, it starts activating it so that this is a little loose, actually very loose, obviously, because it has to slide around on the pivot, I think is how it would be mounted. Under the pivot, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I would have to really open this thing up to fully understand it. I've never seen one of these kind of like, you know, off of drawings and off of the one screen that I'm looking at trying to make sense of this. But all you have to know is that it's a piece of metal that swings around behind it, behind the blade. And as you can kind of see here, you can actually hold it up in place like that, which is cool. Which is actually really cool. I never knew you could do that. That's cool because obviously you don't have to push it down at the end and at the start. So yeah, that's cool. Otherwise it's a dead zone in the middle. But I apologize for confusing that. Like, I'm so confused myself at how this works, and I have one in my hands. The simple fact is, it works. It works really well. And action's good. Everything's solid on it. Let's see, backspacer, very flush. You know, in this regards, it's a Riot made Rendencion 229. Its fit finish is absolutely terrific. Nice stone wash on it, so it's going to hide scratches. The clip, nice little, is it even? Oh, is that even? Look at that. Oh no, my eyes are deceiving me. It is even, it's an even clip. Just the lock bar is kind of dipped down as I'm looking at it there. I'm going, oh, it's not, there's a little gap on the one side. Maybe it's curved. No, it's just me being an idiot. It is landed on top of the frame, so that when it's in your hand and you are putting pressure on the clip, obviously it's not going to transfer that to the lock bar, which is the whole point, so that it is easy to open and close. Like so. Kickstop's terrific, man. That's cool. Ergos, one thing I always like here is that little bevel on the side of the lock or of the frame. So it's got that bevel. It's also elevated. Now this is one detail that I wish I had the other manual version of this to see if that was also elevated here, and I'll have to look that up. But as far as I can tell, this guy is in fact elevated with a nice bevel on it, and it's very comfortable, very rounded, very smooth. You've got about 20% lockup on it as well. Thick pins throughout. Nice sound, strong detent. And one thing that the Kickstop, I don't know if they've tuned the detent or not. This is the one thing I'd like to know is, you know, did they tune the detent a little different between the Kickstop and the standard? Or if they just kept them the exact same. Like, to me, it's stiff, but it feels the same. Like if I had a stud there, it would shoot right out. And I truly wonder if this is going to be something at some point that they're going to do a Kickstop with a thumb stud. That'd be kind of cool. Or if you've got a Rendencion 229 with a thumb stud, if you could swap, no, obviously you couldn't swap the blade in there. That wouldn't make sense. I'm sure there's, of course there'd be differences. Of course that wouldn't work. Hear me just being an engineer off paper, eh? What else can we talk about? There's no sharp spots, no hot points. We've got that cool logo there of the Kickstop from Lee Williams, which actually is in there too. You can see Lee Williams. Cool. It's written very small to the left of the Kickstop there. That's cool that they marketed it like that. Jimping, definitely usable. Very sharp and deep cut into that blade, which just kind of goes to that, you know, if you want to have work gloves on. Ooh, that is very sharp. Very cool. Well made. Love that. I love on the grind too here how they've angled the top bit up but still kept it flat across the top. That's cool. Very cool. Nice deep grind. And I think that may be covering it all. I can't really think of anything I've really missed here. So that is the Rendencion 229 from Chaves with the Kickstop on it in a Tanto blade, which looks fantastic. I'm going to be throwing, I've got two of these in, so I'm going to throw one of them up on the sites, as one of them's already sold. Seem to be difficult to get in Canada currently, but this one is probably going to a new home. Appreciate that. And the other one will be available here at some point. Maybe it's already up, maybe it's gone. Don't know. Don't know, I'm not thinking that far ahead. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, guys, and taking a look at the knife. And any questions, leave them below. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Cheers.